that Johnny Goss and Arnhem Harner took to victory in the great race. And you'll start alongside Tony Alford in that ex-Bob Forbes Racing GTR Godzilla 4-wheel drive supercar it is, 600 horsepower. That 4-wheel drive will come in handy on this greasy track, Bob.
Yes, and Bill Cutler sitting up there in third in his BMW, which he has raced extensively overseas but brought back to Australia. And Bill Cutler is an optometrist and he's sponsoring this race.
Well done, Bill.
Can't do any better than that.
The ex-Roberto Rivalia machine, number 46, the next Schnitzer-built BMW. And he'll start alongside Craig Foster in that very quick little Toyota Sprinter. Great drive from Foster to be up there in fourth. Rose will be next in the Commodore, number 52, alongside Rod Hatfield in the Tirana, number 9. And they're away, a rolling start for the Heritage Touring Cars. Alford wasting no time getting to the front. Mike Roddy second, Schnitzer BMW of Cutler now up into third in front of Rose. David Toe looking to put a move too on the cars in front. The ex JPS BMW, the black and gold machine, is neck and neck now with Cutler. Battle of the M3s.
Cutler loses out on that corner as David Tao in an M3 goes past him.
They will have their sights set on that big rear wing of Rose. Next, Fred Geisler, VH Group C Commodore in front of them. Very handy car around the tight confines of Winton is the M3. Toe all over the back of Rose at the moment. Rod Hatfield, the number 9 Dustings Tirana, getting rounded up by the number 93 LJ Group C Tirana of Steve Axisa, who's coming under attack from the Commodore of Adrian Allisey, the Walkinshaw machine, number 40. So Alford leads from Mike Roddy. Alford down from Queensland has a very big collection of ex-Gibson Motorsport machines. This car was built by Gibson Motorsport for Bob Forbes Racing, replaced their Walkinshaw Commodore. Mark Gibbs and Rowan Onslow, the only privateer team, I guess you could say, running a GTR outside of the Gibson Motorsport operation. Did very well at Bathurst.
Alford only 0.57 of a second in front of Roddy. So Roddy hanging on in there, but then Tow's only 1.5 seconds behind. In fact, he's a lot closer now.
David Toe, that BMW right on the tail of the Jag of Mike Roddy, so keep an eye on the number 44 machine. Alford will not want to hang around because David Toe is on the charge in third place. Traditional rivals back in the day, the Jag and the BMW, particularly on the streets, on the circuits of Europe. Toe up the inside of Roddy, a great move. Cutler following him through. So they're all ganging up on the Jag, so the BMW is now running second and third. Mike Roddy back to fourth. I'll bet Mike wishing he was on the long straight of Phillip Island, Bob.
Yeah.
Unleash that 5.3 litre V12,
yep.
But he's doing a good job still there in fourth, but no match at the moment for the BMWs in front of him.
Not with the twisty bits round Winton.
Alford leads in the GTR. Flames belching. Toe, though, right on his tail. Won't be long before we have a battle for the lead. Adrian Allisey in the Walkinshaw, flying the Holden flag up into fourth place. Displaced Terry Lawler, next Bob Morris XD Falcon. Car that Alan Moffat jumped into in 1980 after his hastily prepared XD failed fairly early in the race. Allisey now starting to pressure Mike Roddy. Adrian has a couple of the Tom Walkinshaw designed Commodores in the stable.
And look at the tussle between first and second.
David Toe, fastest lap on that lap, a 136.8.
And going round the outside, can he do it? He nearly pulled it off.
Completely different lines there, the Nissan versus the BMW. Even though it's four-wheel drive, they do tend to understeer a little bit, and we saw a great example of that with Alfred running a little bit wider line than David Toe in the BMW. Bill Cutler are not far away in third in the second of the BMWs. Great to have Craig Marsland too, across from WA, I believe he's based, the number 14 Valiant Charger. The first time we've seen a Group C Charger on the circuits over here. Of course, we saw them in the earlier Group N historic touring car race, but this is a genuine machine from the Group C days. Crossover period, like the Axisa XU1. The Charger raced in Group C. Leo Gagan, of course, ran one in the early years of Group C.
Cutler takes the fastest time. It's only 1.7 seconds behind Alfred and only half a second behind Toe.
Dom Dimitriades in the number 65 Berkeley RX-7. He's leading the Peter Woods ex-Peter Williamson Sleeker, famous Chickadee colours. So Graham Bailey, I beg your pardon, not Peter Williamson. The Chicken Man, Graham Bailey, of course, Bathurst winner with Alan Grice. Earlier running a Celica back in the late 70s. And Peter Woods, the Queenslander, using that to great effect at the moment, trying to chase down that RX-7 of Dom Dimitriades, who is trying to get past the Charger of Craig Marsland. So, as Bob mentioned, Bill Cutler in the BMW, slowly reeling in the number 44 JPS machine of David Toe.
Quickly running him in at the moment.
Toe getting very sideways. You're right, Bob. He's catching him hand over fist, so wondering if those tyres are any good for David. He's getting quite squirrely through the corners. That's a technical term, squirrely. Alfred just setting fastest lap out in front, the GTR, 134.7. David Toe with the mirrors full of Bill Cutler. Cutler almost hiking a rear wheel through the corners there. A nimble little BMW. Adrian Alessi just running wide, just out of shot at the moment, so he didn't lose any places though. Cutler trying to reel in that BMW of David Toe. Toe doing the business at the moment. A little puff of smoke there again for David Toe.
A bigger puff after the first one. And Cutler right behind him. See how we go under brakes. Cutler going around the outside. I don't think you can do that, Bill. But Toe goes a little wide. But Bill not close enough to dive down the inside of it. Maybe we'll have another go.
Nothing between these cars on the straight, but Cutler looks like these cars handling a little bit better, Bob, and really closing up on those slow corners.
Of which one's coming up. And again, smoke out of Tao's car.
Mike Roddy in the Jag coming under pressure from Terry Lawler in the ex-Bob Morris XD Falcon. As Cutler again harasses David Toe. David putting the car exactly where he needs to keep out, Bill. But here we see this great battle between Roddy and Lawler. With Rose not too far away either. Next, Fred Geisler, Ralph Radburn, VH Group C Commodore. So 5.3 litre V12 Jag versus 5.8 litre Cleveland-powered Falcon of Lawler. The Jag, the heaviest car of all the Group A machines. Although the Tom Walkinshaw machines are a little bit lighter than they're probably meant to be, if I can say that.
You're not suggesting cheating there, are you, Darren?
Definitely not from the Roddy team, but maybe from the dearly departed Tom back in the day. But was part of the course. The Group A circuits of Europe, a little bit of rule bending. Lawler getting very close now to the tail of that big Jag. Just shows you that fantastic low roof profile on the Jag compared to the big square-rigged Falcon, which was styling-wise was right up to date there. Would have been designed in the 77, 78, around there before it was introduced. Ford Granada in Europe. Had a bit of an influence on the design of the bigger XD Falcon here in Australia. Roddy using the power of the Jag there to keep in front of Lawler. Magnificent sounding machine, the V12. Rose not far away either in the Commodore. 2 laps to go for our race leader, Tony Alford, in the GTR. Cutler still trying to find a way through on tow as this battle continues between Lawler and the Falcon, Roddy in the Jag.
And with only 2 laps to go, Alford's still only 1 second ahead of Toe, who's 0.6 of a second ahead of Cutler.
Good to see Justin Nielsen out there too in the front-wheel drive Nissan Exa. The little turbo machine had a few issues in qualifying, but looks like they've cured that car. Car that Freddie Gibson's wife, Christine Gibson, raced. Young Glenn Seaton had a steer of that car too early on. As Lawler continues to pressure Roddy. A couple of Falcons out there too, of course. Also have Ian Ross, the ex-Mike Emery privateer machine as well, further back. Lawler still can't find a way past that big Jag. Speaking of Jags, Tony Pallas out there too, so in the ex-Gary Wilmington privateer XJS, so great to have 2 Jags out there this weekend. Cutler still on the tail of David Toe. Starting to get through some of the back markers now. Should be interesting for David Toe, trying to keep Bill Cutler out there too as he tries to negotiate some of the slower traffic. He's rounding up the Marsland Charger. Doing a good job to get out of the way of the faster cars as Alford heads towards the checkered flag. Time running out for Bill Cutler to get past David Toe in that battle for second. Alford just rounding up the Capri of Carl Muller. Next, Laurie Nelson Group C machine. As Cutler still trying to get past Toe. Slower traffic can make it a little bit difficult, but they're all doing a great job getting out of the way, but of course that takes away a passing opportunity. Alford looked like he is heading towards a checkered flag with no issues whatsoever. Godzilla looks like it's still stamping its foot on harmless civilians all these years later, and Tony Alford takes the win. The battle for second at the line. Toe will just beat home at Bill Cutler, BMW 2-3. Mike Roddy gets home in front of Terry Lawler, a battle that went right to the flag. Adrian Alessi in the Commodore.
Yeah, there he goes.
Lose there. Rear end letting go, so maybe some brake adjustments coming for that car. A little bit of backing off of the back brakes there. But Alessi got back on the circuit and completed the race. So thank you very much to Bill Cutler, not only for that entertaining drive in third place, but also sponsorship of the first race for the Heritage Touring Cars, Group C and Group A. So Bill Cutler, optometrist, in queue since 1979. And if you're a racer, he promises he will give you the right prescription. He will not deliberately muck it up so he can beat you on the track. Bill is a lot more honest than that.
I'm one of Bill's sponsors.
There's a few sponsors of Bill. So that's why we want the car to finish every race, because
Yes.
otherwise the prices will go up.
Exactly.
So just recapping the top 10 for the Heritage Touring Cars. Tony Offord took the win from David Toe. Bill Cutler was third. Mike Roddy in the Jag fourth. Terry Lawler in the Falcon fifth. Craig Rose in the Commodore was sixth. Adrian Allisey seventh. Foster in the little Toyota was eighth. Justin Nilsson in the Nissan was ninth. And Steve Axisa in the LJ XU1 was 10th. Coming up shortly, we'll have Group S sports cars brought to us by Auto Restorations over in the land of the long white cloud.
We've always had a few cars. They're all special. The T-Bird.
Oh, that's mine.
The Combi for when we want to get away. The XR8.
It's going to be a classic.
They're all insured with Shannon's,
We've also got Shannon's home and contents cover.
which helps protect our automotive collectibles, tools and memorabilia in the home and garage. If you're motoring enthusiasts like us, it's got to be.
Shannon's.
Shannon's, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
We all agree now is the right time to start making choices to support Aussie businesses, supporting Aussie families and communities. Well, from their humble beginnings in Melbourne nearly 100 years ago, Penrite now sit as a truly respected global lubricants brand across automotive and industry. And the best bit, it's still 100% owned by an Aussie family that employs Australians in Australian factories right here on Aussie dirt.